Hi everyone, this is Pratima, and for the past 7 days I have been using the regular Galaxy S24 and S24 Plus. Like always, this year too, the center of attraction is of course the S24 Ultra. Actually, this year more than ever if we consider the record-breaking pre-booking numbers of the Ultra model. But let's not forget there are two other flagship phones Samsung sells which come with equally enticing specs, all the cool AI features that the Ultra model has, and a much lower asking price too. So how much are you missing getting these over the S24 Ultra? First, let me get down with the elephant in the room, Exynos. Yes, Exynos on Samsung's flagship is back. While the S24 Ultra gets the top-of-the-line Snapdragon 8 Gen 3 chip, we get Samsung's in-house Exynos 2400 on these regular models. After omitting Exynos last year, I really thought that they wouldn't bring it back at least for the next 2 to 3 years, but here we are. Now, looking down at the history books, Exynos sadly has never been able to impress us because of their lower yield and overheating tendencies. And no points for guessing, even this year's Exynos 2400 heats up. But before you jump into any conclusions, hear me out. It does heat up, but it's not as bad as it was before. These are the results from my 3D wildlife stress test, and the maximum temperature I recorded on the S24 was 42.7 degrees and 41.6 degrees on the S24 Plus, which is acceptable. Previously, throttling was a huge issue with Exynos chipsets, but this time performance levels do not degrade that much, which means Exynos is getting better, and also partly because of the larger vapor chamber cooling system on these devices. Of course, the S24 being a compact device shows hotter temperatures because of its smaller chassis and lesser heat dissipation area, while the Plus model is able to handle temperatures a bit better. In real-life scenarios like normal everyday usage, both phones do not get warm, and I used both these phones while charging too, and no, there was no unusual overheating or anything like that. While gaming though, I found the temperature rising to around 40 degrees on both these devices after like 30 minutes in games like PUBG and Genshin Impact. There was no stutter while playing the games whatsoever, where I was getting closer to 90 FPS on PUBG and around 60 FPS on Genshin Impact in the highest settings, which can be considered as good gaming results. Do note that it's the middle of winters here, and I conducted all my gaming tests in room temperature of around 20 degrees. So as summer comes, both these phones should heat up more depending on your usage and the region you live in. So yeah, I would have ideally preferred the more stable performance of the Snapdragon 8 Gen 3, but looking from Samsung's perspective, they are not just a phone maker but also manufacturers of chipsets, and they spend a lot of money on R&D on their Samsung Foundry. The last couple of years have not been great for them, but with the Exynos 2400, things do look positive, and I really hope they can get better and compete well against TSMC. Likewise, another good news is that all the AI features that the Ultra model has is perfectly serviceable on the S24 and S24 Plus as well, including the circle to search feature, camera features, as well as live translation of calls and voice transcription. So that is awesome. And Samsung's commitment to providing a whopping 7 years of updates on the entire Galaxy S24 series is just the step up Android needed in 2024. Now, not only you can use Samsung's flagship without a worry for a longer time, their resale value will also be better, and this is also a step in the right direction in reducing e-waste. So honestly, I am very, very happy about this. The only thing that's a little weird here is that the 128 GB version of the S24 for some reason only ships with the slower UFS 3.1 support, while all the other variants of the S24 Plus and even the 256 GB S24 indeed have UFS 4.0. It's a weird compromise on such high-end device. Now, the design side of things is not very different from last year though. We still get these flat boxy form factor, a glass design, and a new aluminum frame with matte finish. If you have watched my Galaxy S24 Ultra review, I said that I found very minimal difference in actual usability with the titanium frames because the heft and everything was pretty much the same. Yes, titanium is more robust and durable, but aluminum is good as well, so I will not exactly complain a lot about it. Other than that, I love how handy and comfortable both the S24 and the S24 Plus are, especially the smaller S24. This phone is like a dream come true for people who like compact devices. Even the S24 Plus does not feel that huge, at least not as much as the Ultra. So if you're someone who likes compact devices, Both of these phones will not disappoint you. But I do have to add that these two Samsung flagships have started looking more and more like iPhones year after year. Not complaining though. Now moving on to the display side of things, after performance, this is where you'll find a few differences between the Ultra and the regular models. First of all, you don't get Gorilla Glass armor protection on the S24 and S24 Plus's display. Rather, it's Gorilla Glass Victus 2. Now Victus 2 is strong enough, but in my usage, I found it to be a much more scratch prone as compared to the S24 Ultra. Just look at the S24, which I have, that travels in my pocket along with my keys and purse, and it has horrible scratches on it. Plus, another thing I missed while using the S24 is that anti-reflection property of the Gorilla Glass armor, which you get on the Galaxy S24 Ultra. Nevertheless, I have no complaints regarding the display quality on these phones. They are sharp, bright as the Ultra, and with great contrast viewing angles and color reproduction. As expected, it also has a nice touch response and LTPO refresh rate that can go as low as 24 Hz. And compared to last year's Galaxy S23, the bezels are also quite minimal this time around. The regular S24, however, only has a full HD resolution as opposed to Quad HD on the S24 Plus and Ultra. But since the S24 is a compact device, I don't feel a lot of differences in real life usage. The S24 and S24 Plus sadly have the same display issue as the Ultra Model 2. There's actually no difference in color reproduction in the natural and vivid modes, so I really hope Samsung brings forth an update to solve this issue soon. Another aspect I love about the S24 is the position of the fingerprint sensor. It's just located at the right place, so I haven't had to stretch my fingers all the way down to reach it. Also, this is an ultrasonic sensor that is fast, accurate, and does not blindingly light up while trying to unlock at night. Samsung has also increased the battery capacity on both the S24 and S24 Plus. The regular model now has a 4000 mAh battery, while the Plus model comes with a respectable 4900 mAh unit. With this, I was expecting the battery life to be better on both the models, but sadly, I ended up getting slightly lesser endurance than last year. I am guessing it's Exynos stats behind this, so I got around 5 hours of screen on time on the S24 versus about 45 minutes more on the S24 Plus, which is almost half an hour less than their predecessors. Alright, let's finally talk about the cameras now. Here we get the same setup as last year, including a 50 megapixel primary, 10 megapixel telephoto, and a 12 megapixel ultra-wide angle camera on both the Galaxy S24 and S24 Plus. Before using the S24, I was daily driving the S24 Ultra, and needless to say, I had an amazing time with its cameras. And shifting to this phone, I found the S24's camera's performance to be pretty darn good, no doubt, but let me remind you that it's not as good as the Ultra. First, you cannot zoom in 10x or 20x with good clarity. The S24 Ultra does it much better, and you also can't take 5x portraits. But other than that, I don't think you are missing a lot with S24's cameras. You still get the same Samsung processing with clearer details, a lot of focus on blues and greens, and bright images that look totally pleasing to the eyes. Plus, Samsung is also pushing a camera focus update which should improve its cameras even further. Yes, I did miss the 5x portrait lens of the Ultra once in a while, but shooting portraits with the regular 2x and 3x mode from the S24 is good enough. What I liked about the 2x and 3x portraits from the S24 is how pleasing it makes the skin tone look. Honestly, these are social media ready pictures that need no further editing. The blur and everything looks equally good, so I have been pretty happy about the portraits. Likewise, the daytime images have nice contrast, good details, and in some cases, the dynamic range here is better than even the iPhone 15, both in normal as well as ultra-wide-angle photos. The ultra-wide-angle images don't have as good of details like the primary ones, but there isn't much color shift and the images are pleasing as the main lens. However, you don't have autofocus in ultra-wide-angle mode both on the S24 and S24 Plus, so I was not able to click some nice-looking macro shots like I did with the S24 Ultra. During nighttime, the S24's images are bright and nice as well. There is a blue tint in the images which does not look very good all the time, but that's not that big of an issue issue here. The only thing I would complain a little is the over-processing that Samsung does when switching to night mode, but other than that, just like during daytime, low-light photos are very good too. Selfies are a bit too brightened from the S24 in my opinion. They are not bad, but you can clearly see that they are not very natural. Like always, you do get 4K 60fps selfie video recording, which is nice to have, and the quality and the stabilization is just on point. From the rear cameras, you can shoot up to 8K 30fps videos, and Samsung has improved on the 8K videos a lot. Now, the field of view is not much compromised and the output is stable enough with only some movement jitters and nothing much. Still, I think 8K is an overkill for smartphone videography, so I mostly shot at either 4K 30 or 4K 60fps, and you can see from these footages that the output is nice and stable. I have to let you know that from both the S24 and S24 Plus, you cannot switch between the lenses while shooting at 4K 60fps, which in fact is possible on the S24 Ultra. But Samsung does let you switch to the selfie camera in the same resolution, which, as I said in my S24 Ultra review, can be very useful for vloggers out there. Hey everybody, so I have just received a major camera focused update on the Galaxy S24 as well as the S24 Plus, which means that you can expect even better camera performance on both these devices. At the same time, I will make sure to follow up with other videos, especially comparison video with the iPhone 15 and even the Pixel 8 if you guys would like to watch that. So let me know in the comments down below. So what did I miss? The speakers. You get an excellent pair of stereo speakers on the S24 that is loud and balanced. Like always, Samsung favors a slightly sharper output, but they sound really good. Plus, the experience while typing and such is very pleasant here. The vibration is crisp and precise, yet it's strong enough for you to not miss calls or notifications. Alright, so how good are Samsung's affordable flagships then? For me, the Plus variant of Samsung flagships always remains that awkward middle child that's nothing but just a bigger version of the regular S series. So rather than getting the S24 Plus, I think it's just better to add some money and get the S24 Ultra, or even get last year's S23 Ultra that's much more affordable now. Or maybe get the OnePlus 12, which is one of my favorite phones right now. Regarding the regular S24, like last year's S23, it is easily one of the best compact flagship phones available in the market right now. Alright everybody, that was all for my full review of the regular Galaxy S24 and S24 Plus. Let me know in the comments what are your thoughts on the devices, and while you're there, don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Saying this, I'm Pratima and I will see you in my next video. Thank you so much for watching.